Thanks for the lead-in, Lorante. Very professional. In breaking news this morning on Monday, November the 13th, 5 U.S. service people were killed when a military aircraft crashed over the eastern Mediterranean Sea during a training mission. U.S. European Command said Sunday the aircraft crashed on Friday evening. EUCOM said all 5 crew members were killed when it went down during a routine air refueling mission as part of military training. The military first announced the crash on Saturday and said that the cause is under investigation, but there are no indications of any hostile activity involved. It said on Sunday that search and rescue efforts began immediately, including nearby U.S. military aircraft and ships. European Command said that out of respect for the families of the service members and in line with the Department of Defense policy, the identities of the crew members are being withheld until 24 hours after next of kin notifications are completed. It wasn't immediately clear what military service the aircraft belonged to. The Air Force has sent additional squadrons to the region, and the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, which has an array of aircraft on board, has also been operating in the eastern Mediterranean. While we continue to gather more information about this deadly crash, it is another stark reminder that the brave men and women who defend our great nation put their lives on the line each and every day to keep our country safe, said Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin III. They represent the best of America. We will remember their service and their sacrifice. Our prayers are with the patriots we have lost today and their families, loved ones, and teammates. And in other news, in Middle Tennessee, it's hard to get mental health treatment even if you have insurance. But after an in-depth investigation, we have found that people without health insurance can wait days in emergency departments to get into a psychiatric hospital. In 2021, TriStar Centennial Medical Center in Nashville paid $725,000 to settle allegations of patient dumping following an investigation by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The investigation focused on 29 patients who came to the hospital's emergency department in 2016 and 2017 with serious psychiatric medical conditions. Investigators found although the hospital had available staff and facilities to treat the individuals at its on-site psychiatric unit, it either discharged the patients or held them in the emergency department for up to 6 days until space became available at a state-run psychiatric hospital. The investigation cited the case of a 39-year-old woman brought to TriStar Centennial by ambulance. J.A., as she is identified in the investigation, was found walking through traffic with complaints of psychosis. J.A. did not have health insurance. Instead of admitting the woman into Centennial's on-site psychiatric unit, Parthenon Pavilion, she was forced to wait in the hospital's emergency department for 3.5 days for a room to open up in a state-run psychiatric hospital. In a statement, Tricentennial said they've improved care since the investigation and do not believe this history is reflective of the current state of mental health care in our ER. TriStar Centennial also said the increasing need for mental health care services is a challenge faced by healthcare providers across the country. Emergency room doctors say mental health patients without insurance often wait days to get into a psychiatric hospital, especially in the midst of the current mental health crisis. In the state of Tennessee, we have a lack of capacity for those uninsured patients, said ER Dr. Sudave Mendirata. Mendirata is past president of the Tennessee College of Emergency Physicians, which represents all ER doctors across the state. The wait times that you are seeing your investigative reporting are not unusual for people across the state of Tennessee in acute mental health crisis without insurance, Dr. Mendirata said. As we first reported, Helen Moore waited 4 days inside a locked room in the emergency department at Manchester's Unity Hospital. She was suicidal, but she did not have health insurance. The hospital told her she was 35th on the waiting list for a bed at Moccasin Bend, a state-run psychiatric hospital. I just wanted help and I felt like I was being thrown away, Moore said. When you are in a mental health crisis, you need help then. The same as having a heart attack or a stroke, Moore continued. Therapist Suzanne Blackwood was surprised when a state crisis worker recently kept asking whether a suicidal 19-year-old client of hers had insurance. We will continue to follow up on this story as well as the military life lost in the Mediterranean as these stories develops. And now we're going to kick it back to Lorante.